A silent conflict rages, not with steel, but with constant noise. In this struggle, your ultimate weapon is your own mind. Yet, what if a forbidden brain technique exists, one so potent it could elevate you beyond those deemed naturally brilliant? It's no pill, no complex device, but an ancient wisdom now curiously shunned. Why? Because once unlocked, you become unbounded. Allow me to guide you through 4 profound insights into this neglected practice. They say, the mind mirrors water turbulent. It obscures clarity, calm, the truth reveals itself. This is where authentic intelligence sparks, not in frenzy or endless motion, but within the deep calm of stillness. This is the very genesis of the forbidden brain hack. Its secret has been withheld, not for its complexity, but because it's deceptively simple, immensely powerful, and often overlooked. In a world consumed by clamor, we're urged to chase more, accumulate more, vocalize more. Yet, ancient sages grasped the truth modern science is only now affirming. The position for the true key to unlocking intelligence isn't found in relentless activity, but in conscious being, in pausing and accessing an inner sanctuary where insight blossoms. While speed is lauded and quiet feared, we forget that history's most brilliant minds frequently retreated from external chaos. They embraced solitude, not as a luxury, but as essential. They recognized intelligence isn't merely absorbing information, but integrating wisdom through quiet contemplation. When the mind is serene, it pierces through illusions. When the mind is tranquil, it discerns deeper truths. This isn't just poetic phrasing, it's a neurological fact. The human brain, particularly the prefrontal cortex, flourishes when not overstimulated. This area responsible for higher reasoning, emotional regulation, and strategic thought activates more robustly in moments of serene focus than during frantic multitasking. Stillness isn't an absence of activity, a decision for. It's a distinct form of engagement, an internal process. It's the space where your awareness is no longer captive to the external world, allowing you to tune into internal cues. The subtle stirrings of intuition, the emergent patterns that link disparate ideas in novel ways. For when you master the art of stillness, the mind ceases to chase and begins to originate. It starts to reconfigure itself to operate from a state of presence rather than constant strain. This state enables your mental acuity to expand, your problem-solving capabilities to sharpen, your memory to deepen, and profound comprehension to emerge. Imagine a flame burning brighter, not from added fuel, but because the wind has subsided, letting it soar higher. Consider the genius who always seems to have answers, not because they're thinking harder, but because their thoughts run deeper. Their mind isn't scattered across countless distractions, it's firmly anchored. Its position for that anchoring begins in stillness. When you sit in stillness, you don't suppress thoughts. Position 4, you observe them arrive and depart without judgment. This alone removes the mental friction that obscures clarity. You start seeing clearly. You begin thinking beyond the superficial. Suddenly, previously unseen patterns materialize. You cease reacting and begin observing. This shift alone amplifies your intelligence because you're no longer driven by primal reflexes. You're operating from conscious awareness. This awareness lies at the core of every innovation, every breakthrough, every intuitive leap celebrated in those called geniuses. The ancient Shaolin monks don't rush to solve issues. They breathe, they calm their minds, and only then do they act, not from apprehension, but from centered resolve. Their actions are precise, wise, and clean. Their intelligence isn't measured by speed, but by their presence in each movement. You can cultivate this same intelligence, not by mimicking their rituals, but by grasping their rhythm, the rhythm of calm, the power of the pause, the brilliance born from stillness. The world might call it doing nothing, but those who've experienced it know it's the bedrock of doing everything better. Your attention sharpens, memory improves, stress fades, and creativity surfaces, not because you exerted more effort, but because you finally allowed your brain room to breathe. And in that conscious breath, position for your highest self begins to awaken the version of you that isn't frantic, hurried, or competitive position for, but that utterly grounded and fully alive. There's a reason this profound mental hack isn't taught in schools or broadcast widely. It generates no profit. It cannot be patented. It returns control of your own mind in a world that thrives on your distraction. Its stillness is rebellion. It's the declaration. I refuse to be swayed by urgency. I choose to reclaim my mind, choose to sharpen my intelligence through presence. And no gifted genius can rival the power of a person who is fully aware, completely present, and profoundly still. So sit daily, even for a few moments, and let the external world fade. Sit, not to escape, to reconnect with yourself. In that reconnection, you will discover a mind that no longer requires external validation to feel smart or worthy. A mind no longer racing to achieve genius, but one that has already found wisdom through stillness, through breath, through calm. This is where transformation truly begins, starting with you. You don't need more input, you need more inner space, because in that space, your mind becomes limitless. They say the breath bridges body and mind, yet most people live their entire lives breathing without conscious awareness. But here lies one of the most potent, yet concealed, brain hacks confirmed not just by ancient wisdom, but by modern science. Your breath is the most direct control over your mental state, your intelligence, your capacity to transcend societal expectations. When you grasp and intentionally engage with your breath, you unlock a portal to clarity, emotional equilibrium, and a form of superintelligence, not in a mystical sense, but in a deeply practical, measurable way. In every moment, your breath signals your state. Shallow, rapid breathing indicates stress, your mind is scattered, thoughts race, and your body tenses. But when you breathe slowly, deeply, with complete awareness, everything transforms. Your nervous system rebalances, your heart rate stabilizes. Crucially, your brain begins operating in its highest potential zone. This isn't speculation, it's neuroscience, the prefrontal cortex, the core of logic, memory, decision-making, and awareness activates optimally only when the body feels safe and grounded. Your breath is the master key to transmitting that signal. Those often praised as gifted geniuses for their speed, memory, and creativity, what if these traits could be awakened within you? Not through innate talent or birthright, but by mastering your breath? Unlike talent, your breath is trainable, controllable, and accessible every single moment of your life. Yet society overlooks it, distracts from it, even fears it because it's too simple, too natural, too free to be monetized. So it remains untaught. But those who grasp it and practice it daily begin to witness something extraordinary. They think clear, speak calmer, recall more effectively, and feel more connected, not just to themselves, but to everything around them. The breath brings you into the present moment, and the present moment is the sole environment for intelligence to flourish. You can't be insightful while dwelling on regrets. You can't be strategic while consumed by anxiety. Your power resides here and now, and your breath anchors you to it. Every slow, deliberate inhale fortifies your nervous system. Every long, the grounding exhale calms your emotional turmoil. In this balance, the brain enters its most potent state where thoughts organize, focus sharpens, and creativity flows like a pristine mountain spring. You don't need to be born a genius to access this. You only need discipline and awareness. Even 5 minutes of conscious breathing each morning can rewire your brain towards growth, peace, and insight. This isn't meditation in a rigid sense. It's the activation of your hierarchical through a physiological mechanism no technology can replicate. So the breath is the original intelligence enhancer. It was your first act upon entering this world and will be your last before departing. Yet, how many days pass without you even noticing it? Those who train with monks, those who sit in silence for hours, do so not to impress, but to attune their nervous system through breath. They expand the space between thought and action, and in that space, intelligence awakens. They don't rush, they don't panic. They simply breathe and allow wisdom to rise naturally like the sun piercing through fog, and you can do the same. You don't need a cave, a robe, or a title. You need only to sit, breathe, feel, and listen. When you breathe deeply, your brain waves shift from chaos to coherence, from confusion to clarity. The best part, you can do it anywhere, anytime. Overwhelmed at work, caught in anger, afraid of failure, just breathe. A long, slow inhale, a long, slow exhale. Within seconds, you begin to regain control of your mind. This control becomes your new power. Your mind no longer reacts from fear, it responds from focus. And this focused mind can solve problems others cannot, perceive ideas others miss, and see paths others overlook. There's a reason ancient wisdom called the breath life force. It doesn't just sustain life, it awakens it. When you master it, you master your mind, emotions, and energy. You begin to notice what others miss. You begin to understand what others rush past. You begin to navigate the world not as a follower, but as a conscious being, positioned for, capable of seeing truth be illusion and generating results from stillness, not struggle. You don't need to memorize scientific terms or study every breathwork style. Position for what you need is a commitment to pause daily and breathe fully, to feel each inhale as life entering and each exhale as resistance leaving your system. In this rhythm, intelligence is no longer something you chase, it is something you become. This is the brain hack they don't teach because it's too pure, too effective, too empowering to be controlled. But it is yours and always has been. The breath is your ancient code, your internal upgrade, your untapped power. Embrace it and you become more than smart, you become clear, calm, and unshakable. When the breath flows, the mind glows. In that glow, you realize genius isn't a gift, it's a state of being. And that state is always one breath away. In a world of incessant noise, the most profound and potent skill you can cultivate isn't speaking louder, but focusing deeper. Focus is more than attention. It's the honing of your entire intellect. It's the sharp edge that cuts through distraction, confusion, and overwhelm. It's the divide between those who skim surfaces and those who delve into mastery. True intelligence truly ignites only when your energy is no longer scattered but entirely directed to a singular point of presence. You see, most people don't lack intelligence. They suffer from an undisciplined mind. They start one thing, then before it's complete, they pursue another. Their thoughts leap from screen to screen, from task to task, their brain constantly shifting gears without ever completing a full cycle. This habit weakens the mind. Position 4, training the brain to crave novelty over depth. It builds shallow connections instead of profound understanding, resulting in a life bustling with activity but devoid of clarity. But when you cultivate focused attention, your entire mental structure begins to transform. You stop reacting to every notification, every message, every external sound. Instead, you become the one who decides what merits your attention. This choice is where your power starts to grow because energy follows attention. If your attention is fractured, your energy is weak. But if your attention is whole, your energy becomes unstoppable. This isn't a theory, it's a fundamental law of the mind. Even 5 minutes of undisturbed, position 4, concentrated attention is more potent than hours of fragmented effort. When your mind is fully engaged with one task, it operates at full capacity. Neural pathways strengthen, memory sharpens, and problem solving becomes more instinctive. This is the concealed characteristic of every great thinker, artist, athlete, and spiritual master. They have honed their attention like a precise instrument because they are completely present in their actions. Their results seem almost miraculous. But it's not magic, it's the mastery of focus. And you can cultivate it too. It begins with one simple practice. Choose one task daily and dedicate your complete attention to it. Not partial, not half present, not while checking your phone. Just one task. It could be walking, writing, or sipping tea, but immerse yourself fully. Let your mind experience the depth of doing one thing with absolute presence. Soon you'll notice something subtle yet powerful. Your thoughts slow, your awareness sharpens, your inner monologue softens. Suddenly, hold this position, for the internal noise no longer dictates your state because your conscious awareness has taken the lead. This is what they never teach in schools. Your ability to focus is a superpower that can be trained, not an innate talent. The more you train it, the more potent it becomes. Your capacity to learn grows. Your ability to listen deepens. Your creative output expands. Most importantly, your ability to remain centered in a chaotic world becomes unshakable. Ocean 4. There are no grand secrets in the minds of geniuses. There is only the practice of being present, of dwelling with a thought long enough to see its origins and its ramifications. While others leap from idea to idea, the genius remains still with one insight, allowing it to unfold. This is entirely possible for you. The only obstacle is distraction, and the remedy is conscious focus. Do not undervalue the impact of doing one thing with complete attention. Position 4. Because that singular act begins to rewire your brain for higher intelligence. When you focus, your brain reinforces the connections needed to retain and process information. It lessens cognitive overload and cultivates clarity. This is why monks can memorize entire texts and martial artists react in milliseconds. They aren't superhuman, they are super focused. And that focus stemmed from discipline and consistent practice. Even in conversation, you can practice this by listening fully, not formulating your next response, not judging, not wondering, just listening. In that deep listening, you begin to understand beyond mere words. You perceive tone, intention, even the unspoken. All this information is lost to the distracted mind but readily available to the present one. The more present you are, the more intelligent you become, not through brute effort but through heightened awareness. Focus also grants freedom, liberating you from the addiction of multitasking, which science reveals as a major impediment to cognitive performance. Each time you switch tasks, your brain incurs a cost, a tax on memory, and energy. Over time, this tax depletes your brilliance. But when you commit to one thing and persist, you pay no tax, you gain interest. Your energy compounds. This position 4 and your results multiply. The world is filled with individuals who know a little about everything, but those who ascend are the ones who go deep. They aren't everywhere, not always visible, but when they act, the world feels it because their work is infused with clarity, intention, and depth. This is only attainable through focused attention. You don't need to withdraw from life to cultivate this. Just start small, one thing, one breath, one moment of complete presence. Build from there. Like a muscle, your focus strengthens with repetition and resistance. When your mind drifts, gently guide it back. This returning is the training. This returning is the growth. Over time, the wandering diminishes, presence solidifies, and your mind becomes a tool, not a trap. This is the most overlooked brain hack, precisely because it demands discipline, and the word has made distraction effortless. But you are not here for ease. You are here to awaken, position 4. And to awaken means to reclaim your attention from the forces that seek to seize it. When you master your focus, you master your future, because the world will always present reasons to be distracted. But your power lies in choosing not to be. When your attention becomes unified, your mind becomes powerful. And when your mind becomes powerful, your life becomes extraordinary. Within the stillness of your mind, the rhythm of your breath, and the sharpness of your focus lies something even deeper, a gateway to intelligence that arises not from books or systems, but from direct experience, from embodying your knowledge, not merely intellectualizing it, but living it with your entire being. This is where the ultimate transformation begins, where you transition from theoretical learning to absorbing through presence, where knowledge transmutes into wisdom because you have felt it, touched it, moved with it, and allowed it to shape you from within. This is the most profound brain hack of all, not for its complexity, but because it is real, it is lived. It is the transition from knowing to being positioner. This is rarely taught in the modern world because it cannot be downloaded or conveyed through words. It must be experienced moment by moment, breath by breath, action by action. The instant you begin to live what you know, instead of just thinking about it, your entire nervous system rewires, your decisions align, your emotions stabilize. This position 4. And your intelligence becomes grounded, not just elevated, but deeply rooted. True intelligence isn't the ability to recite facts or win debates. It's the capacity to live in harmony with your mind, body, and environment. It's awareness in motion, wisdom in action, and peace amidst intensity. It means feeling your breath while speaking, maintaining your posture while thinking, engaging all your senses when learning, and moving through life with full presence. When you adopt this way of living, your brain activates differently. Your entire neurology enters a flow state where learning is no longer an effort but a natural consequence of being fully awake. Imagine entering a room and not just seeing but sensing its energy. Imagine reading a book and not just understanding the words but embodying the emotions behind them. Imagine listening to someone and not only hearing them, but feeling what they cannot articulate. This position 4, this level of intelligence doesn't originate from analysis, it originates from presence. And presence can only be cultivated through practice, through repeatedly guiding your attention back into your body, back into this present moment, back into life as it unfolds. This is what the monks and masters have trained for, not to escape the world, but to move through it with profound awareness, to bring their entire being into each step, each action, each breath. When you begin to train in this way, everything becomes your teacher, the whisper of the wind, the sensation of your body, the movement of your hands, the silence between words. Suddenly you learn faster, not because your brain is straining position, but because your whole self is engaged. You're not just reading, you're absorbing. You're not just watching, you're becoming. This embodiment of intelligence means you stop overthinking and start experiencing. You stop asking, what if? And start asking, what is? You exit the cycle of analysis paralysis and enter the rhythm of clear, aligned action. From that place, your decisions carry greater impact, your words carry more weight, and your mind carries more light, because it's no longer burdened by scattered thoughts. It's supported by grounded presence. It's said that a single step taken in full awareness is more valuable than 1,000 miles walked in confusion, because that one step shifts your entire vibration, your entire frequency. This shift alters how you perceive, how you learn, and how you show up in the world. When you move with awareness, your brain no longer has to work overtime. Your body becomes a partner in intelligence. Your breath becomes your guide, and your energy becomes clear, calm, and creative. The beauty of this practice is its simplicity, no special tools, no technology, no external permission needed. Position 4. You can begin right now by feeling your feet on the ground, by noticing your breath as it flows in and out, by softening the space behind your eyes and allowing your attention to settle within your body. This simple return brings you home. From this home base, your intelligence expands naturally, like water filling a vessel, taking the shape of your attention and nourishing everything it touches. Do not chase intelligence as something to be earned or proven. Instead, return to what you already are, being designed to learn, to grow, to feel, and to understand through presence. Every moment of your life offers a lesson, but you must be present enough to receive it. When you begin to live this way, you don't just learn faster, you transform deeper, because knowledge becomes truly yours. It resides in your body and expresses itself through your actions, not just your words. This is the distinction between reading about calm and embodying calm, between studying focus and moving with focus, between knowing the importance of stillness and living from that stillness. When your body aligns with your breath and your breath aligns with your attention, you enter a state where the mind no longer struggles for clarity, because clarity is your default. Your inner and outer worlds begin to harmonize. Your thoughts become simpler, your emotions lighter, and your presence magnetic. Others may wonder how you remain composed, speak with purpose, or act with confidence. The answer isn't in what you say, it's in what you embody, because you have trained your nervous system to operate from the truth of your being. In that training, your intelligence is no longer fragile, it is resilient. It isn't dependent on the environment, it influences the environment. Position 4, it radiates from within. This is the power that awakens when you cease separating thought from action. When you stop thinking one thing and doing another, when your inner world and outer actions walk in harmony. From that harmony, intelligence grows, not like a light switch, but like a sunrise, quietly, steadily, inevitably. And in that rising, you become the person who no longer chases wisdom because you live it. You no longer seek answers because you are aligned with the source of answers. When your knowledge becomes embodied, your life becomes your intelligence, and your presence becomes your proof.